Howdy folks, and welcome back to Making My Own Arc, and it is so nice to finally be flying an airplane again and not putting a computer together and not playing with settings and not testing this and not testing that and not adjusting this slider and pulling back that slider and trying this checkbox. And oh my gosh, what a week it's been. Of course, it's fun for a little while, and it was a lot more fun when I was younger, but it's not nearly as fun now. I'd rather be flying the plane. So here we are finally flying. And yes, that is the Beaver in front of us, which I said we would never see again. But I'll talk about that as a separate topic. First of all, I want to catch you up on the graphic settings super fast, and then we're never going to talk about them again. So right now we are in 4K. We will remain in 4K. After the last video I made, though, I did concede and I took off shadows. And that more than doubled my frame rates. Now you will see the frame rate counter in the corner, which we will leave up for a few flights just because I want to keep an eye on things. It is locked off at 30, and that's for VSync. I did take VSync off before I started recording, and it's like in the 50s or 60s, between 54 and 60. So it's going to be locked. Okay, this is that weird thing again, that 15 frames. Ignore that for right now. But anyway, it will be locked at 30 because of VSync. It'll never go above 30, even though it's perfectly capable. So turning off shadows has doubled my frame rates. Turning on threaded optimization has taken care of every microstutter. It is smooth as silk now. I flew around Minneapolis off camera, nice and quiet late at night. Without VSync, it was like 38 frames per second. With VSync, of course, it's locked at 30. So when we were getting 15 frames in that last video, it never dropped below 30, not once. So the ground shadows, thread optimization, we're staying in 4K. We'll keep the frame rate counter up for a little bit. Every once in a while, it still does that 15 frames thing, but then it goes back to 30. So I don't know what that's all about. It didn't do that during my test, although it just didn't now. I don't know. I am using shadow play. It does screw up the sync of my audio, so editing is a lot more work. I can't just cut and paste and slide things around. The game audio, the voice audio stays in sync, and I'm using a separate voice program. But the game audio gets out of sync for some reason, so I don't know if it's a variable frame rate. There aren't any options, so I can't choose constant versus variable. Anyway, so I just want to do a little bit of back of the house stuff about my settings and locking the frame rates and thread optimization and shadow play and everything. So that is all done. We're done talking about it. I know I can fly in a super detailed urban setting above 30 frames per second now in 4K. So except for the weird little things, depending on what part of the airplane you're looking at, weird thing that we had happen. Other than that, we're good to go. We're not going to talk about frame rates anymore. I will keep the counter up for a few videos, though, like I said, to keep an eye on things. But otherwise, we are back to normal flights. Like I said, what a week it has been. So, the next thing to talk about, we do have the Beaver in front of us. I had actually deleted this thing from my X-Plane folder. I was done with it. It was broken. It wasn't working. But there have been 2 fixes, and we're going to try them today together because, again, the point of this channel is to try things together. And we're going to try the 2 fixes and see if it works. The first fix was a ground handling issue. That is simply solved by going to the org store and downloading the update. The mini update is a tiny update, and it's like a year old, but there's an update for this plane. If you go to the org store, you'll see where it says Beaver for X-Plane 11. This is the SoulMade Sim one, by the way. I won't even consider any other Beaver. So get the update for that. That'll take care of ground handling. The other issue was the flaps, where as soon as you would introduce flaps, you would turn to the right, go straight down and crash. We've had videos of that, and I hung this thing up. That's when I removed it from a hanger. Now, somebody on the forums went into PlaneMaker and found out it's because slotted flap was something else. So if you go into PlaneMaker and you go to your first flap and choose slotted flaps, and then down below, if you turn on where it says infinite flaps, make those 2 changes and save it. It's supposed to fix everything. I have not tried since I made those changes myself. I have not practiced. We're going to do it together. So the ground handling should be solved and the flap issues should be solved. So now the only issues we should have are my own issues. flying a tail dragger. I'm terrible at this. At one point in time, though, when this was my primary aircraft, I was nailing every landing. But that was like a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, since I've been able to fly this thing, because our last 4 or 5 flights in this were with those issues. So we weren't even able to land. We weren't able to, there's the Crossman component was all screwed up. So we just flew for fun. But now we're taking it seriously again. We're going to see if this works. If it does, we will be using this plane very regularly. This was my first payware purchase ever. At the same time I bought the Coronado B1900D, because this is the only plane in real life I have been in that wasn't a commercial jet. I was in the floats version of this plane in Duluth, Minnesota for a sightseeing tour with my family. My poor wife got sick. My kids were with. I bought this because of that, and it's an absolutely amazing model, even in X-Plane 11, even without being rebuilt for X-Plane 11. It's still an amazing model, providing those 2 fixes work, which we're going to find out together. I bought the Coronado B1900D because that was the first airplane my kids have ever been in, period. Their very first plane ride was that 1900. I wasn't with, unfortunately, but I have it in the sim. So that is the backstory. I've told that story several times, but it's been a very long time. So there we go. I know this livery does not match where we are, but I like it. I found this. I haven't used this livery before. So that being said, where in the world are we? And I mean that literally. Where in the world are we? We are in Denmark. We're going to take a quick little flight. Very, very short. In fact, this introduction is probably longer than flight time, but I had a lot to catch you up on. It's been a long time since we've had a regular flight, and it's been even longer since we've flown this thing. So we are in Aars Airport in Aars, Denmark, Echo Kilo Victor Hotel. And we're going to fly a quick little hop, skip, and jump to Skive Airport, also in Denmark, Echo Kilo Sierra Victor. We're going to do it all the old-fashioned way. We're going to go a direction towards an NDB, and then when we hit that NDB, we're going to circle it, tune in a second NDB, aim for it, and the airport should be exactly between the 2 NDBs. Is it going to work that way? We'll find out. I have never done an approach like that before. We have done an MDB approach, and it was in the 727 of all things, and we nailed it. Beginner's luck. I don't know if I could ever do that again, but we did nail it on our first try. This is a little different. This is pointing to one NDB, immediately tuning in the other, and trying to stay between the 2. And it's set up so that the runway is, the heading between the 2 NDBs. So that's the plan. We'll see if it works that way. The bigger thing is, are the 2 fixes going to work, and is this plane flyable again? And if it is, you'll be seeing this a lot more. So let's hop in. I do have my checklist, which is old and needs to be redone. And what is the first thing we need to do? Doors and static elements. Let's do fuel first. Let's see, we are in 4K, so this is very tiny on my 55-inch monitor, but I can see it. I think we are not going to have a 2.5 hour flight. I will be asleep by then. It is very, very late on a Monday in real life. We'll be pushing midnight here pretty soon. Let's do an hour and a half, although I think it's only like a 10-minute flight. Oh, weather is turned off, by the way, right now, and that is because the first time I fly a plane, that's essentially the first time I've flown this plane since the fixes, I always turn off weather just to see if it's me, if there's an issue, if it's operator error. Because if you fly with crazy winds, you don't know if it's you or the airplane or what. So no weather today until we get used to the aircraft. What is next? Pre-flight elements removed. That's if we hop out here and I redid my presets, and my keyboard is now in a different spot on my desk now that I have a new desk yet again, or rearranged desk. I'm using my left hand for everything that I'm used to using my right hand for. We'll see how that goes. Hide the yoke I have in here. Where do I have closed doors? I don't have closed doors written on here at all. See, this is back. This is the very first checklist I ever wrote for X-Plane. It's terrible, so not use this. It's a cold and dark start. I have to redo this thing. Okay, so props up, it says hide yoke, both battery switches. I think those are these. I have in parentheses the big red ones. Nav lights, cabin lights. I have a preset for this. There we go. Let's see. What do I have? Nav, yeah, I guess we would do nav lights and beacon. Cabin if we need to. I don't think we need to. Map light. We don't need to. There are instrument lights though. Those might turn on later. because they're not working right now. Select the fuel tank. Let's start with center. Pump the lever 5 times. That's this thing here, and we're looking for that center gauge up above to go 90 degrees. I'll show you in a second. I've been having problems with this when I did a test flight that I ended up scrapping the recording before I got the fixes. So that's a little high, but hopefully that'll work. Primer by door 3 times. There's 2, and there's 3. Throttle up 1/4, mixture up, fuel boost right there. Starter switch. Let it go for 4 seconds, and then incognitos. Negatives. Let's see if it's gonna run. No, see, I obviously have to do this like 5 times. I don't know what I do wrong, but it will start. There we go. Whoa, 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 whoa. Parking brake isn't on. Hello. Parking brake, please. Oh, ground handling is working. It's not supposed to go. That was my problem. Parking brake? Is it working? Is it mapped? Yeah, okay. That's really funny. Alright, I'll have to make sure I check that next time I start this thing. Well, let's not stall. But yeah, it took like 9 times of starting it for it to actually start. But it did. And it really started. It really took off on us. Okay, so throttle down. Yeah, we did that. Props back for taxi. We don't need to do that anymore because the ground handling thing is fixed. Fuel boost off. I actually turned it off when I was trying to get this started. Radio switch can come on. Tune the radios and the instruments. So all it is 2 ADFs. We can only do one at a time. So it's where are we here? It's 335. So 335, and then as soon as we circle that, so what'll happen is over on our ADF card, we'll point towards it. Then as soon as it gets really sensitive and we go around it, we'll quickly switch to 389, and then we'll point towards it. But by then we should have the runway in sight without any problem. But so 335, double checking. Oh, we have to turn it on. There we go. Turn this on too, I guess. And turn that. I'll leave that one. Yeah, fine, whatever. Let's see. On standby. Good. Alrighty, so 335 and then 389. Oh, I forgot that these move. I haven't played with this stuff in a long time. Well, there's the cabin light. Altimeter, barometer, doesn't matter, 299 or 2 because we have no weather turned on. And we are going to taxi. So does this have taxi lights? I didn't know this one. Landing lights, but no taxi lights. Paitati, let's turn that on right now. See, I have a lot to update on my checklist. It's been a long time. So anyway, see 30 frames per second, but before we're looking at the front of this 15, so I have no idea what's going on with some of these models, but whatever. I don't care. I mean, we're pegged at 30 at VSync right now, so who cares? We are going to go straight and take off on that runway and head southwest. Oh my gosh, this is so amazing. Between the 4K and the smooth frames and no stutters, I just yay. Okay, so anyway, here we go. Let's do our special taxi view thing. Take the parking brake off. Is it gonna go now? Come on. There we go. We can ground handle. Oh my gosh, this is insane. So that part's working. There we go. It's very sensitive though, but it works. Gets the job done. So let's hop inside. Flaps take off. Oh, that's starting to affect it though. Oh, come on. We were able to ground handle. It was working. That's kind of weird. There we go. Okay. There's a combination of throttle, rudders, and flaps, and that blue thing, props. We gotta go higher. I can't see where I'm going. Rudder, throttle, and prop control. I'm doing presets at the same time. Sorry. Okay, so if you have too much throttle, it goes to the left no matter what. So you got to keep your throttle way back. The problem is going on grass. That's the caveat. Once you're off the grass, then you bring your throttle back, it does what you want, but how do you get, let's just go this way to get on that. Ooh, frame rate dump. I just want to get on the tar. There we go. There we go. Okay, so keep your throttles back and you have full control. But like I said, the caveat is when you're on grass, you have to give it a lot of throttle so that overrides your control, whatever. There we go. So if you normally start then on dirt, on pavement, you'll be fine. Because now I've got full ground handling control. My props are actually forward again, so that wasn't it. Let's just try to get out here. Yeah, I have full control now. Okay, so it's not perfect, but if you're willing to work with it, it's working. So let's stop here a second. Okay, and come down and parking brake. There we go. Okay, so it's not perfect, but like I said, if you're willing to work with it, it's fine. So landing lights are on. I don't have any other checklist. My checklist stopped a long time ago. Kind of silly. What direction are we facing even? We're facing west, so we're just going to turn to the left a little bit once we take off. So here we go. Feet on the rudders, parking brake off, full throttle, full flaps, full mixture, and we have control in the ground. We can actually take off. It's a little bit, okay, this is, every plane is different. Every plane is different. Let's pop out. Okay, it took off on its own. That's fine. There we go. You just have to keep throttles and props under control so that we keep this on climb for flaps so that we don't overheat, which would be these. Yeah, those temperatures you have to keep track of. All right, here we go. This is very awesome. I kind of wish I didn't have to use VSync because I want to see how high my frame rates are, or how they could be, but I do need VSync or the tearing is so bad. Well, that's kind of funny. I might have to adjust my seat. The tearing is so bad that you can't make sense of it. All right, so we're going to climb. How high are we going to climb? What are we at? We're at 1,000. The NDB hasn't kicked in, so we're just going to kind of turn to the south, I guess, and hope the NDB kicks in. I mean, we got it all on, right? The radios were turned on. If it was this one, yeah, radios were on. ADF is on. 335 is in there. Let's just hope it's accurate, and that it'll kick in soon. Alrighty, so let's see. We're going to keep the flaps set to climb. We're climbing. Our airspeed's way too fast. I'm still trying to get a hold of this thing. Well, let's get some left rudder in there. There we go. Let's head this direction, I think, until we hit our NDB. And let's climb to like 3 grand. And then we'll kill those flaps. And then we'll try to get this thing under control. Oh my gosh, this thing is bouncing all over the place. Let's hop outside a second. Alright, having a hard time keeping this thing under control, but that's okay. That's probably just me. Otherwise, it flies great. Whoops, I just realized something though. We have to bring this back or else we're going to overheat our cylinders. Yep, let's keep track of what we're doing here because that's going to change everything. And let's hop down. Is it this one? Yeah, see, we're in the red on cylinder. So we got to be careful or else we're going to start a fire. Yeah, wasn't watching. That'll heat up quick, especially when you're low to the ground. Let's keep everything in the green. In fact, let's slow it all down even more to cool it down. Let's bring the flaps in. We'll level off here at 3,600 or so. And that should help cool it down. We were climbing at way too fast of an airspeed. We did not need that kind of speed to climb. So that's kind of what happened. Our ADF has not kicked in, so we're just going to hold this heading 210 degrees or so. And then we'll keep an eye on my temps. We actually slow down even more. We're only at 3,500. Let's climb a little bit. Oh, look, there's a little city down there. Look at that. Can we zoom in? Oh, yeah. Whoa. Wow, it's so smooth now and responsive that I'm like all over the place. Well, keep an eye on what we're doing. Check our temperatures. Coming down quickly. Good. Oh my gosh, this thing is all over the place. That's all me though. Still no ADF. I'm going to try to keep this thing under control. Anything else I need to say? I don't think so, other than I'm going to try to keep this under control and smooth. I can see my temperature from here now that I got this in 4K. Good. Temperatures are all coming down. Hopefully they come down before we start on fire. Otherwise, I think what we might do is engage autopilot just for the sake of sightseeing. Normally I would love to hand fly this, but because of sightseeing, I think we need to engage autopilot. We're doing ADF, so we have to use the heading bug. So we have to get our heading going. Can I push this one? Nope, I actually have to spin this one around. There we go. Anything else we need to do? Let's climb a little bit because we're coming down. Let's get back to 3,500 and then we'll engage autopilot. Everything's in the green and we're coming up on 35, so let's get this autopilot ready to go. What we'll do is we will turn it on and we will do alt now at 3,600 and we'll do heading. How do we do heading? I push it. Heading, there we go, so that'll follow. Whoop, nope, that moved on us. Come back. There we go, that'll follow the heading bug. Alt will hold at 36, well, it looks like 3620. Nope, still down to 3,600. Good. Alrighty, so all I need to do is keep an eye on our temperatures, which are fine, and wait for our ADF card to kick in and point the heading bug towards ADF so that we fly directly towards NDB, which means non-directional beacon. And then once we do that, we'll tune the other NDB, and then we will look for an airport. So like I said, the theory is when we go between the two NDBs, we should already have the airport in sight. Otherwise, we are cruising right along at 160 miles an hour with room to spare. Really, we could go faster, but I don't think we're going to. So I'm just going to cruise along, we'll do some sightseeing, and I'm going to wait for that ADF car to kick in, and that's when I'll jump back with you. What beautiful sights. I'm kind of bummed that we have to use VSync because I would really like to see how high these frame rates can go. I'm sure in a situation like this we could probably even hit 150. Like my first day I was trying some things, but whatever, we can't worry about it. We just have to appreciate that we can even do 30, even locked at VSync. Oh, there's an airport. I did notice that our NDBs are now in the simulator. So there we go, we're flying right by the airport. So we have to take over. Such a short flight. Barely got a chance to enjoy it, but that's okay. I picked a short flight on purpose simply because I wanted to test this airplane and see if it actually works. And so far it does. The ground handling is fine. It's a little finicky. You got to pay attention to what you're doing. You need to be careful with the throttle. Super easy on the throttle and the rudders, but it can be done. It's not perfect, but it can be done. The other test though is to see if these flaps work. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down, slow down, and if we can get the first set of flaps out without turning to the right, crashing and burning, then the problem has been solved by making those two changes in Plane Maker. If you want to know what I'm talking about, just visit the forum. Other users have pasted screenshots. But aside from that, I really want to point out these little tiny towns in the new European AutoGen in X-Plane 11.26, I think I'm running. And it is so cool to see European AutoGen in Europe like this, as well as little towns with the high detail now that I'm finally able to run. You can actually see neighborhoods and towns. You kind of got the idea before that, like, oh yeah, there's a little tiny town in the country, but you kind of had to use your imagination to fill in the blanks. But now with the high detail, every building is in there. Like, look at this little town. Everything is there. Look at that. It's so awesome. And during a quick sightseeing, I noticed the same thing. A lot of little towns around this lake. So anyway, let's see if I can remember how to land a tail dragger. It's not going to be pretty. We're going to bounce. We might even crash and burn. But as long as we get these flaps out, that's what the purpose of this flight is for. And that's why I picked a short one. I don't want to fly for like an hour and then not have it work. I wanted to fly for 10 minutes and see if it's going to work. And it looks like that goal has been met. So let's see if it still concludes on a positive note here. We're slowing down. Get in a flap range. Then for tail dragger, aim towards the ground, level off, or else we'll see what you're doing. And then land as softly as possible. Has to be better than 100 feet per minute or 50 feet per minute to even land without bouncing. So we're going to float like crazy. And, whoa. Okay, look at that. They work. Oh my gosh, it works. So the ground handling is finicky but doable. The flaps work perfectly fine. So we are going to fly this plane again. It's like a brand new plane all over again. I'm so excited. Oh, I missed this thing. Let's just see if I can land it. So we want to come in steep and then level off. Keep an eye on our speed. And then once over that threshold, we want to kill throttle and just let it come down on its own. Better than 100 feet per minute. Try to get better than 50 feet per minute. That's between 0 and the first hash on our VSI. And if you can hold it off and let it land, you should be fine and not bounce. But I'm not promising anything. Not promising anything. So let's ease off now. Ease off, ease off, ease off, I said. And just let it land on its own. Nope, that wasn't a bounce. That was me pulling back. And we bounced. That was a bounce. Darn it. No, it wasn't. Was it? Maybe it wasn't a bounce. Maybe that was... Oh, ground handling, ground loop. Ooh, these rudder pedals are so sensitive on this aircraft. Whoa. I thought they were sensitive in the Cessna. This is crazy. Oh my gosh. I'm barely touching right rudder. Then I barely touched left. I don't know if that was a bounce or that was a tail wheel bouncing. We'll have to look. We'll look at a replay, I think. Maybe. Okay, so too much throttle, you can't ground handle. But if you're on the grass, you need throttle to get going. So that is the tricky thing. So let's see if I can give it. See, it wants to go. It wants to go. See, there we go. A little bit of throttle, then you can control it. But a little bit of throttle, you get stuck. So let's just let it loop to the left, just so we can get some speed. Once we get some speed, we can bring back throttle, then we can have control. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I can control both ways now. Because we got the speed and throttle is back. Okay, good. It's working. Let's just hopefully have enough speed to get out of that pavement. And then we're home free. Are we going to make it? There we go. Bring back throttles. Now we're home free. There we go. Okay, like I said, a little bit of nuance needed, but it can be done. Let's hide this. Turn up. Whoops. What's my thing? Too much speed. Too much speed. We go left a little bit. Turn off landing lights. Turn off pitot heat. And are we on the runway? Whoa. Okay, hang on. Slow down. Whoa. Whoa. Okay, don't want to nosedive here. There we go. That's working. Shoot, I do want to look at my replay, but I'm always worried about the simulator crashing. But we're gonna try it. We'll try it. The fact that you're watching this means the simulator didn't crash. So, all right, let's see. Let's find a place to park first, and then we'll do the replay. Where should we go? Let's just pick a hangar here. So anyway, welcome to Denmark from Denmark. I'm not sure if I've flown to Denmark before. I want to do it more. I want to do a lot more international flights. Those actually get the most views on my channel, I noticed. European flights get thousands of views on my channel, whereas flights in the US and stuff get like 30 views. And Canada, flights in Canada get thousands of views. It's very strange. So if I could turn those viewers into subscribers, though, that'd be helpful. But we hit my goal. I wanted to hit 500 subscribers by January 1st. We had a 503 by January 1st. So I'm very excited about that. And hopefully this 4K thing draws in more people. Just because I enjoy the interactive community. The more subscribers, the more interaction I get. Although I know most of you who I've never heard from are enjoying the videos very, very much. Because you keep coming back. Alright, let's see here. Let's park this thing right here. Oh my gosh, ground handling, it's so nice. You just have to get that throttle back almost all the way. Let's stop and set the parking brake. And I think I've got replay on my yoke now once I get it started. So toggle replay mode. And then let's back this thing up. I think I can hide the controls. Yep, I can hide it on my yoke now to get that nasty thing off that screen. Alright, so I'm going to set up a replay. And I will be back with you in a moment. Alright, so let's see how this goes. I thought I had it. I thought we were going to nail it. It was going so well. And then we bounced. Darn. That was mostly because I didn't know how high we were off the ground. But for a first taildragger landing in years, not terribly bad. And then the ground loop was because the rudder pedals were way more sensitive than I expected them to be. Because every airplane, they're different. The Coronado, lot of rudder. The default Cessna, barely touched the rudder. This thing, you think about the rudder, and that's too much rudder. Let's do a runway landing just because I like that. Or a runway view. And here we come. What a great shot. I love runway view. I think it's my favorite. I love it. There we go. And not bad. Probably better than I would do in real life. Of course it's better than I would do in real life. They wouldn't let me land one of these in real life. Alright, let's hop back to real time and shut this thing down. Alright, so here we are. I think we just need to hop in. See, I need a shutdown checklist too. I got a lot of work to do now I'm going to be flying this thing again. Let's just turn that thing off. And turn the fuel tank off. And turn this thing off. And just come down here and just turn things off because we can. Everything's off. Yoke can come back in. And open the door here. And I think we can open the door here, but it's behind the seat somewhere. Where are you? There it is. Yeah. All right, let's hop outside. Very cool. Oh, there's a pilot in there. I didn't realize that. So very cool. I'm so glad we can fly this thing again. It's like a brand new airplane all over again. And we're in 4K, which, like I said, once you fly in 4K, you never want to go back to 1080p. And my settings are all cranked up. All I had to do was turn off shadows, which I'll be fine. I'll get over it. I'll get over it. I'll get over the shadow thing. The only con is I wish we didn't need VSync because it'd be fun to see how high those frame rates would go. Like I said, the first day of the computer, I got like 150 in a rule setting like this. Not that you need it. I mean, that's silly, but it's fun, right? So I kind of wish we didn't need VSync with this monitor. Then we could see how high those go. But you know what? 30 frames per second, you're not going to notice anything anyway. So everything is good. I'm finally able to fly planes and not screw around with sliders and settings. I'm so happy. Hopefully you enjoy the flight as well. I got so many more flights planned. I'm so excited to get back into this. It's been way too long. Way too long. And now that I can finally fly the way the simulator is meant to be used, just blows my mind. Like I said previously, I waited 20 years for moments like this. I've been doing this for 20 years. Granted, 18 of those years I treated it like a video game, but it's been a long time. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the flight. I certainly did. If you're a big subscriber, thank you for your continued support. If you found me by accident, please like, please subscribe, please share with your friends. If you have any suggestions for a flight, let me know in the comments section. I honor subscriber requests as soon as I can. Always have any other questions or suggestions, let me know, and I'll catch you on the next one.